Hi everyone and welcome to the 5th episode of this hardcore survival. In the previous episode I've built this windmill for the farmers. And in this video I want to expand the village, because as you can see the village still only has one building. Behind me I want to create a building for the next type of villager. And in the previous episode I already said this will be the area for the villagers who will provide the food for the village. So as you can probably guess, I want to create a building for the butchers. And I want to split this build into two builds. One part will be the house of the butchers, and the other part is gonna be the real butchery. And I know I don't have any villagers yet, but I will allow some soon enough into the village. But let's now take a look in the storage room, because I will need a lot of basic building materials for this build. And while I'm gathering the materials, you can of course consider subscribing and liking this video, because I'm trying my best to create fun videos to watch. So you will really help me out if you click that subscribe and like button. For this build I want to use some spruce wood, some mangrove wood and also a little bit of jungle wood. So I will need to travel to the mangrove swamp and to the jungle. So here's a quick montage of me gathering all of the logs. Let's go. What am I seeing? For the people who watched the previous episode, do you still remember I couldn't find any bamboo in that jungle? Well, I guess I should have come to here. And what even is this? A whole jungle island? Supported by just one block? Well, this day can't get any weirder. Okay, I think this will be enough wood for the build. I will now grab all of the items I need for this build, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, I now have all of the building blocks I need, and I can also close off this hole, because Diablo is getting an upgrade. And I guess I can now start with building the house, and I'll do that by building a frame with some spruce logs. Okay, I think this is a really good start of the build, and I think this is also a good size for the house. But now for the walls I want to use some mangrove logs together with some stripped dark oak logs, because as you can see they go really well together. So I will now use this pattern to fill in all of the walls. Okay, so as you can see the walls are filled in, and I decided to make this right here an outdoor area, but there will be a roof on top of it. And obviously there will need to be two roofs, one on this lower part and one on this higher part right here. And for the lowest and also the biggest roof, I want to use some mud bricks, just like I used for the windmill, but I also want to use some jungle wood for it, because in my opinion these go pretty good together. And I think I will use a deep slate trim for the outside, and for this roof I think I'm just gonna use some spruce wood. But I'll just start with this roof right here. Okay, the roofs are finished, but there are again some pillagers right there. And we of course need to protect our village, so let's kill them. I also added a spruce trim to this roof, as you can see, and I also created some small windows. But the roof is still missing a chimney, just like that. And I will also really quickly fill in all of these holes. Fix this right here. And add some details to the outside walls. And now that you change this grass into some stone and connect the pad, this build is completely finished from the outside. Besides the windows I forgot to place. Okay, now the build is completely finished from the outside. So I can now start with the second building, which I will build somewhere around here. So I will start again by creating some spruce pillars and fill in the walls with the same block palette. But for these walls I want to do something different. And yes, I did explode a creeper right here. And no, I don't want to talk about it. But I want to have some more depth in these walls, and that's why I want to use some walls instead of full blocks. And some mud brick walls so it matches with the roof of the other building. And on top I will put some fences. And for the roofs I'm just gonna use the same design. But I will use some spruce planks instead of mud bricks and jungle planks. And now of course the path from the house to the butchery itself. And with that, the outside of these buildings is done, and I can now start with building the interior. I already told you guys that this building will be the house, so there will be a kitchen and some bedrooms. And this is where the animals will be, killed for their meat. And this part of the building will be used to store the meat. But before I can start building those things, I need to gather a lot of decorative blocks. But I'll save you guys the pain of crafting and gathering all of those blocks, because I will speed it up for you guys. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so as you guys can see, I now have all the materials to build the interior. And just like with the building, I will start with the house of the butchers. And I'm just gonna start out with taking out the floor. And creating a floor with some oak planks. Some stripped oak logs. And some beehives. And I'll also create a second floor with some spruce wood. And obviously a staircase leading up to the second floor. And right here on the second floor I can also fix the roofs. And I guess on the ground floor right here I will make a kitchen, and here will be a sort of sitting area. So I'll build that real quick. Okay, the interior of the ground floor is completed, and I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour. So here we have the sitting area with just a table, some chairs of course, also just an armor stand with some leather clothes, just a lantern, a flower pot, and of course a book and quill, and just a plate with some cooked chicken. And above here is just a chest for some storage. Then next right here we have just a small carpet, and under the stairs there is just another chest for storage and a decorated pot with a large flower. Here we have the kitchen with a smoker and just a grill. And I forgot to put some meat on top, so let's do that real quick. I also needed to connect the chimney on top of the house to something, so I connected it to this smoker. There is also a small shelf with a lantern, a flower pot, just some honey, and a small cutting board with a knife, which is just a stone sword with a resource pack I have installed. But now for upstairs, I think this will be the main bedroom of the butchers, and I think I will build a second part on top of here. For example, down here can sleep the parents, and above here can sleep the children. And I think right here will be just a little bedroom for some guests. So I'll just start with this small room and then go to the bigger room. Let's go. As you guys can see, I did add some more paintings to the ground floor, and the interior of the first floor is also complete. So let's go take a look. So when we come up in this hallway, I just added a barrel for some storage. And here is a pretty small bedroom, you even need to crouch to get in. But I actually really like it because it has this roof window right here. And then for the bigger bedroom, down here we have just a double bed with of course another armor stand, a flower pot, some paintings. And above here we have two more beds for maybe the children of the butchers. And of course some more paintings, a empty bottle and some candles. And I really like these paintings of this mod because there are some animals and this is also a butcher. So maybe these are like their favorite animals. So yeah, that's a pretty cool addition to this build. But let's say these butchers sell some meat and make some emeralds. They obviously won't just put their emeralds in a chest like this one or this one right here. Because then someone can just come in and steal their emeralds. So that's why I added a secret hiding spot for the butchers to store their emeralds. And it has something to do with this hallway. And maybe you can already guess it by now, but down here there is a secret hatch, which leads to a barrel where they can store all of their emeralds. But now for the butchery itself, where there isn't a floor yet, so I'll start with that. Okay, now that the floors are in place, let's start with the interior of this part of the building. And I'll start by building a storage area up here using some oak. Obviously the animals will come in from here, so there will need to be some cages and some doors and also some trapdoors to completely close them off. And after adding some tables, some more barrels and chests, some weapons, a grindstone to sharpen the weapons, a cauldron to clean the weapons, and even some fake blood. And now this part of the butchery is completed. And I added some redstone dust because it looks like some blood on the ground. And under this redstone dust I added a redstone torch so it looks like fresh blood. But the villagers are not monsters, right? At least that's what I hope so. No, but I also brew a potion that the villagers can use to put the animals to sleep peacefully. But now for the second part of the butchery. This will just be a pretty boring storage area for the meat, so I'll see you guys after it's completed. And yeah, just like I said, this is just a pretty boring storage area for the meat. And there is also some salt that the villagers add to the meat to conserve it longer. And yes, I know this is sugar, but I'm using it as salt. And after adding some leaves, some moss carpet and some bone meal, I will obviously add some flower pots to the outside of this house. But unlike the other outside walls, this wall is still empty. And maybe these two colors of wool will give you a hint on what I'll be building here. I am obviously talking about a small market stall. So let's connect the pot. And after adding some barrels and some chests, some plants for decoration, a decorated pot, and some item frames with some meat. And there is a wandering trader right here. So if we just get rid of the llamas, we can maybe use him as a shopkeeper for now until we have some real butchers. So let's try to get this guy into the shop. I guess I will need to push him. Please go in. Yeah. No, he's not in yet. Oh, the carpet was blocking him. And with this wandering trader in place, the house itself and the butchery are finished. I do really like this build, and if you know some more small things I can add to the outside or the inside, make sure to leave those in the comments. But it is still missing something. And maybe some of you already know what it is. Just like the farmers, which as you can see don't have any crop fields yet. This butchery doesn't have any animal pens yet. So in short, these two builds are missing their most important part. But that will be something for one of the next episodes, because that will be all for this episode. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I would really appreciate you liking this video and subscribing to my channel. But I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!